I'm John, and tonight I want answers about the election, the Supreme Court, the census, and maybe some other stuff. We're live in 32 seconds.
Technically, we're live now.
We're live now.
Yeah. We were live when you said we're live in 32 seconds. And we're still live, unless they're watching this on YouTube or some other day.
Probably soon.
Yeah, probably some other day. Assuming anyone's watching at all.
Hello, America, and check your calendar. If it says June 10th, 2010, then we're live. If you're watching this on YouTube, then we're not live. And if it's some other date, also not live. This is our premiere episode. If you've never seen the show before, let me tell you how it's going to work. This is like a courtroom drama. I'm the prosecutor. My guest here will be the witness, and you at home are the jury. I'm going to prove my case, but not really prove my case. I'm just going to ask questions and get answers, so you can decide to convict or something else. Tonight, my guest is Keith Stattenfield. Keith is the host of Keith Explains, also on this station, KMVT, Wednesdays at 8:30. It's a great show. Keith explains a variety of topics, but sometimes, often, he lies. I've asked Keith tonight not to lie, but to give us answers on today's topics. Keith is a news junkie, which is why he's my expert tonight. So our first topic is elections. So Keith, Tuesday, I'm seeing people walking around with little stickers that say, I voted. So I'm thinking there was an election. So tell me, was there an election on Tuesday?
There was an election on Tuesday.
Now, was this...
But I don't recall promising not to lie to you.
I thought we
So I'll do it now.
We had a gentleman's agreement.
I promise not to lie to you.
Very good. So the elections we had, were they...
Well, not you, because you're Canadian.
I'm foreigner.
We had elections. You merely were nearby elections.
Yes.
So these elections you were near.
Yes. Were they state elections, or were they
Some of them were
federal
state
elections?
elections.
Were there many states who were voting?
There were several states that were voting. For example, Arkansas also had elections.
Uh-huh.
And I think North Carolina had elections. And probably a couple other states that don't matter.
Okay. So like a handful of states had elections.
Yes.
So why are elections always on Tuesdays?
It has to do with human nature. No one wants to vote on a Monday because you have to get up early sometimes to vote, and that's just a crappy way to start the week. And if they were on Fridays, everyone would be drunk. And you don't want drunk people voting, although we let college students do it. And Thursdays, you're not allowed to vote on Thursdays. It's in the Bible. And Wednesdays are hump day, and people don't want to vote on hump day because it sounds dirty. So that pretty much left Tuesdays or Sundays. Because Saturdays hadn't been invented when elections were first started. The week was 6 days long. And Caesar actually added Saturday.
Okay.
Because he needed a day to recover from being drunk before the Sabbath.
So Tuesday, is this like a law that has to be on a Tuesday? Or has this been convention?
At the federal level, I believe the elections are always the first Tuesday in November.
Right. But there's no like law. It has to be on Tuesdays.
I think there is a law.
Oh, there is.
Yeah. I'm
For
sure
elections.
I'm sure there are lots of laws that say it has to be on a Tuesday.
Okay. So this Tuesday,
This previous Tuesday.
that we had elections.
Unless we're not live, in which case it was some other previous
Yes.
Tuesday.
What were we voting on? What was California voting on?
California was selecting people who won their various party primaries, for the most part, to go forward to the general election in November. So, for example, the Democrats selected who the Democratic senator that'll run for what's currently Barbara Boxer's seat in the Senate is. The Republicans selected someone else to be the Republican. The Green parties had, an election, although there was only, I think, one person on the ballot, so he or she won. I'm assuming, unless a lot of people wrote in, which that would be funny.
Is Barbara Boxer retiring?
Barbara Boxer ran and, in fact, won the Democratic primary.
Oh, okay.
So she will be again running to return to the Senate this fall.
The incumbent.
Primarily against Carly Fiorina, the Republican. Although that Green candidate could just take it all.
Okay. So that was the election for the senator.
We also had...
We had a gubernatorial.
Gubernatorial. Gubernatorial is it's a Latin word that means job famous ex-actors take.
Okay. And so who's running in that?
That's going to be Meg Whitman
Uh-huh.
against Jerry Brown and a bunch of other people. I don't know who they are because they're not going to win.
So Arnold Schwarzenegger,
Current, famous ex-actor.
current governor.
Current governor.
He has to leave office because of term limits?
Yes, and because everyone hates him.
Okay. So he cannot run for president because he's not born in
Because
this
he's
country.
he's a dirty, filthy foreigner.
I remember there was word of changing the
Amending the
Constitution
Constitution to allow
him to run.
Arnold to run until now because no one likes him now.
So 8 years ago, when he first became governor,
6 years
there's
ago.
a lot of, or 6 years ago, there's talk of it, and so
Yes.
is there not any talk?
Not
anymore?
much.
Not really.
No.
Okay.
I mean, we could talk it up if you'd like.
No.
trying
I
to be
think
helpful.
foreigners should be able to be president one day. Okay, we talked it up. That's actually one of my notes. Letting foreigner be president.
We're not going to let that happen.
Okay.
I mean, I think you would have to be a citizen to be president. I mean,
Well, yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that's just fair.
That part I can agree with. I can get behind that. We had propositions as well.
We did
voted
have
on.
propositions as well.
And
And they
tell
always
me-
have numbers
Right.
in California.
Do they
'cause
reuse the numbers every time?
Now they reuse the numbers.
So what was Proposition 8 last time is now Proposition 8 something else.
Well, no, they cycle like every 300 or so.
Oh, okay. So
It'll be
like
at least a
decades.
year or two before we get back to Proposition 16 again.
How many propositions do we typically have?
Usually like 6 to 90.
Wow, that's a lot.
Well, I lied about the 90 part.
Oh, okay. You said you wouldn't lie.
I lied.
How often do we have these kind of elections? Is this an annual thing?
Well, this year we'll have 2 general elections that are statewide. We had the primary. We'll have the general this fall. We have an election area south of here to fill the seat that was vacated when Abe Molinado became lieutenant governor. So someone's got to run for his seat and have it for 4 months and then run again this fall. It's kind of crazy.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Indeed.
And last year we didn't have as many elections.
So who is eligible to vote?
You have to be over 18
Over 18?
or look old.
Okay.
If you can talk your way in, it's just like a bar.
Well, you've got to be like registered, right?
Yeah, it's not hard.
At some point. Okay.
Yeah, I'm registered probably 15, 20 times.
You have to be a resident of California to vote in California.
To vote in California, yes.
How do you?
Or you have to lie, again. I mean, no one checks.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not recommending voter fraud, but no one checks, really.
Now there was an election for who is going to be the Republican and who's going to be the Democrat. Now,
For each race, yes.
free race.
Like, we don't have a Republican. I mean, I guess we got Sarah Palin, but
So, let's say a person is registered a Democrat.
yes.
Can they vote who the Republican candidate will
No.
be? No.
No, that would be wrong. That would be sinful.
How would they figure that out? When you register, do you say what party you're with?
Yeah, you check a box.
What if can you say independent?
You
Or
can say independent.
which means you can't vote for anybody.
It actually depends. Some of the parties let independents vote in their primaries, and some of them don't. And the parties change that over time.